services consultant for Grow Nebraska. And I actually have the honor of introducing Katie from Grow Nebraska, and she's going to be introducing our presenters today. So Katie, I'll let you take it away.
All right, well, my clock says it's noon, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. You may hear a few more people come on in as we do start, and if you can, and if you're not already muted, go ahead and mute yourself so we can minimize the background noise. Welcome to Grow Nebraska's July 3rd Thursday training on getting more engagement using Facebook contests. I'm Katie Obradovich with Grow Nebraska, and part of my job is to facilitate training opportunities just like these. For those of you who don't know, Grow Nebraska is a nonprofit focused on helping you make a sustainable living anywhere in Nebraska. We do this through promotion, market access, and educational opportunities like this. If you have any questions about membership, I will be sending you my contact information after the call. Third Thursday trainings would not be possible without the help from a few of our wonderful sponsors, and this month's training is sponsored in part by Grow Nebraska, SourceGas, and funds provided by the local food promotion program of the Agricultural Marketing Services, U.S. Department of Agriculture. We want to say thank you to all our wonderful sponsors. And now, the reason we're all here, we have two great experts with us today, Connie Hancock and Ginny Nixon from the UNL Extension, and they have a presentation for us. They presented at Marketech and other trainings we've hosted before, and we are thrilled to have them back today to talk about Facebook engagement. So Connie and Jenny will let you guys take it away.
Fabulous. Thank you, Katie. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and Jenny's going to be monitoring the chat and everything else. So we will have this presentation. There we go. Right? Am I on the right page here? And Jenny, you'll have to tell me if we're okay or not. But,
okay, Connie, a couple of things. First of all, I'm not hearing you as well as I need to.
Okay.
And your slides are showing both the first one and the next one. If you can change your presentation mode. There.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, cool. I don't know how to change the audio, except I'm going to have to talk into my computer at the same time. So we'll just work this out. And thank you for allowing us to use this new technology that we have access to. It's called Zoom, and it really is a much more engaging kind of a platform for us in a lot of ways. So Jenny and I have been working with a colleague from Mississippi State, James Barnes, and have done a couple of workshops with some USDA Rural Development grant that we really did learn a lot about Facebook and using Facebook, and particularly Facebook contests. So with that, we're going to get started on thinking about customer engagement. And the first thing that we think about around this whole area is brand awareness. And we really ask the businesses, and you need to be thinking about, what is your red and white? And that's not necessarily a Husker thing, but when we think about Coca-Cola, what comes to mind is red and white. And if you look at any of their marketing, any of their marketing flyers, their promotions, their commercials, they always have the red and white. And so that just helps us understand what their brand is. And so as you think about your brand, what do you provide? What do you want your customers to remember about your brand? And what images reflect your business? And we're just briefly talking about brand today, but this is the number one thing that as you are engaged in your business, if you don't have a very good understanding and/or brand, we need to step back and really think about that so that you can provide then the brand engagement on Facebook or any of the social media parts. So we're going to do a first impressions branding game. And James has worked with a business in Mississippi for over a year on their brand, as well as their Facebook contest. And so we want you to look at these images. Image A, this is a like campaign that they did when they first got started using Facebook. And image B. And they used all 4 images in a campaign that they created when they first got started using Facebook. So those are A and B, and this is C and D. So which image, A, B, or C, D, do you think their customers related to us? And because this was a like campaign, they did all of these at the same time, and the images then were, what images did most of their customers like?
And note that the text is identical in all cases. Everything else is the same, but they've just wanted to test their pictures to see how well they resonated with people. So what are you thinking? Can you type in the chat? Let's kind of see what your answers are, A, B, C, or D. So I'm seeing lots of A's. We got a B. A couple more B's and A's. Lots of A's yet. I got a D.
Okay.
So a lot of A's. Looks like A's kind of winning with this group.
Well, the winner was B. And if you think about a county cooperative, these folks do a lot of different things with their business. So they do have plants, they have animal products, feed and supply kinds of things as well. But this is the one that resonated with their customers. So what resonates with us may not always resonate with our customers. And that's the point of doing these testings and seeing which image makes more sense to our customers. Because that's, in the end, really what matters, is what our customers are thinking. So the whole point of that was every time we share an image, we create an experience for our fans. We create a brand awareness for them of what our products and services are, the people that are engaged in them. And the images are a reflection of you, your family, and they reflect a visual that can either be good or bad. And so as a business owner, you need to be thinking about those images. We have a lot of small businesses that utilize jokes and funny little things when they post on Facebook that may or may not provide the kind of experience and or image reflection that you want to provide to them.
The other thing, Connie, that that we really learned is that Facebook is conscious of the image that you're projecting for your business too. And so we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about how Facebook views a positive image. And that's where we get into this image posting guidelines. And something that's nobody writes this stuff. We've figured this out through research. But Facebook really considers a horizontal image to be the ideal and one that fills up the entire space. And so everything else to them is a little less than ideal, and it will get a little bit less reach. And so we want to make sure that we're meeting that horizontal ideal. And it could be done with 2 vertical pictures, but we need to make sure that we do what Facebook thinks is ideal for reflecting a good image, because they want customers to have a good experience too. So Facebook is going to read those from left to right, and that's why they really like those vertical pictures or horizontal pictures, but 2 verticals will do also. If you're going to put multiple pictures in a post, I really wouldn't use more than 3. Almost no one clicks on the plus 27 or, unless you're a family member. Certainly for a business that people don't pick up those extra images very much. If you've got good images, spread them out over several posts. And a collage is kind of the same thing. Use that kind of cautiously. And for size for photos, take a look at the 940 by 788 pixel size. That is the ideal size for a post on Facebook. If you have some software that you're working with your photos, you can right-click on those and see the image details, and you'll be able to see what that image size is, and hopefully you can edit that to the proper size.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about contests, and we've got some other things that we'll touch on, but contests are really the key today. And the big thing is to follow Facebook contest rules, and there is a link here for what Facebook has in their guidelines and their help section. And so really what we're asking is to in order to collect this information, we're asking people to, one, like or comment on a post on your page. Like this post to enter would be a statement that you could use. You publish it to your page, and then you send your page a message, and so, or send your page a message. So liking and commenting, and I think that should be actually sharing to your page or publishing to your page, and then send your page a message would be ways of engagement from the people that are in this, that you want to engage in your contest.
We have a couple of don'ts also. And this is one that we really have to be sure that we are, we understand. We cannot ask our participants in a contest to like the page, even though that may be one of the goals. We can only ask them to like the post. We don't want to confuse those two.
We can also not ask them to share the post. You can ask them to publish it, but not to share it. And personal profiles cannot be used to collect entries. So those are some of the don'ts that are in those guidelines that Facebook has. So through this research that James has done and we've utilized with some of our businesses is this recipe. That when you start your contest, you will like all of the comments. After the third comment, you make a comment. After every 10 to 15 comments, again, you like all the comments, and then you make a comment or upload an image to the post. So that's part of your responsibility to give feedback to your customers that you're liking what they're saying. And you're also then responding to them somehow. And it's a way of staying in touch with those who are playing. And the other part of the recipe is to use a hashtag to help identify the post. So a possible hashtag would be 2016 contest or 2016 your business name contest. But use a hashtag so that you can identify those posts. And then you can go back and look at the posts that did, the contests that did the best and why maybe they did better than some others.
One of the reasons that we do the posts every third, make a comment every third comment and then a bigger post at that 10 to 15 mark is because customers will go back through those comments and look, and they will see your engagement then in the conversation. And that's always a really good sign to see that the business is actively engaged in the conversation.
Very good. So this currently is the, and I can't pronounce it, the Co-op's Facebook cover page and their profile picture. And they have right at 7,000 likes to their page. And they're the folks that James has been working with. Every Wednesday, they do a contest. And people are now accustomed to then their contest scenario. In their notes section of, on their page, they have their rules, official rules for their Facebook contest giveaways. And they follow pretty much I don't know if this is going to work, Jenny. We'll see. Where did it go? Here it is.
And you guys are free to go to the Oktibbeha County Co-op page and look under that notes and see what they have written for those contest rules, and then pick those up and use them if you want. They are modifying the Facebook rules with their own business name in it and to reflect their business standards. So you can at least get an idea of what that looks like. The link that Connie had on this screen was to the Facebook contest rules. And you can find those at any time, but they're sort of generalized. And what's nice about the Oktibbeha County Co-op is that they took those generalized rules and put them into a structure, including their business name. And that really is helpful to make it explicit about what the contest is about. It also, one of the things it does is it tells folks how and when they're going to announce their winners and how winners will claim their prizes. That is always a big question. And we learned that one of the keys is that we don't want to identify an exact time when you may be announcing the contest end, the winners at that point. If you can generalize that time a little bit, like morning or afternoon, that's as close as it really needs to be, because if you have a disaster and it doesn't happen at the moment you've identified, then you can get into some difficulties. So Connie has pulled up the Oktibbeha County Co-op notes page for us to look at, and you can see that there's a lot of different rules in there, all very neatly put together. It would certainly be something as a consumer that I would like to see if I were going to enter the contest.
Definitely. You would want to make sure that it reflects you and the rules that you would have for your particular contest, but they give you some definite guidelines here to help you get into that. Okay. Do I want to stay here, Jenny, and just go to their Facebook page?
I would, yes. One of the things that you'll see is underneath the banner picture of the tomatoes there, that you have 4 buttons there. You have a liked, a following, a message, and then the more. And under the more, you'll have that an option to. Well, there should be notes page there somewhere. They're on the left.
Left-hand side.
You can organize and manage the structure of your pages so that you can have those pieces appear however you want. Those are all editable pieces on a business page.
So their contest started yesterday at 9:01 a.m. and they have a tendency to schedule all this out. So they go in the week before, they schedule their contest so that on Wednesday morning, it automatically pops out. This particular contest, can you see it okay?
Yeah, I think so.
This one, this is their same format every time, it's contest time. We ring true, Hail State, home of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, go Bulldogs. Like and comment once per fan for a chance to win these game time 20-ounce insulated cup. So they tell you that it's contest time. They tell you what to do. They tell you what you're going to win. And they also tell you when the winners will be announced. So ready, set, like, and comment. And then they give you the hashtags of the co-op and then the co-op contest. Plus then they're also promoting Hail State. So anybody that is following Hail State, which would be the Mississippi State hashtag, would also then potentially have access to seeing this particular. So you can see they've already had 705 likes to this particular contest. They've had 318 shares.
And remember, we don't ask them to share this. We just say like and comment, but they get about a third of them will share over the life of the contest, which is really incredible. And like James says, he doesn't understand that, because if you're sharing it, you are minimizing your ability to win because you're sharing this good news with more people.
So they have liked many of the their comments at this particular point in time, and then there's several that they need to follow up with. So it's pretty incredible that since yesterday morning at 7, there's already 700 people that have liked that. Okay. I don't want to view anymore.
I was going to ask if you guys have questions. And so we have a note from Heidi Garvin from Grow. She says, if anyone would like one-on-one assistance in learning about scheduling posts or customizing those side buttons, Grow Nebraska can set up a time and work with you on that. So that is an excellent resource. Are there other questions on this particular contest that we see here?
So I was going to show them last week's contest, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the same kind of a conversation, although they're into the canning season. So it's contest time. Ball canning supplies have been around for a long time, and the memories run deep. Win a $25 gift certificate that can be used to purchase your ball canning supplies. What a great idea that they're giving away $25 for them to come into the store to buy their supplies. And you know that if we're buying supplies, we're going to buy something else while we're there. So like, show, or tell your favorite memory, accomplishment, or story related to your canning with your family. 2, this time it's only 2 drawings will be announced, ready, set. This one didn't have as much activity. We had 38 people, 14 shares, but there was lots of stories about canning and actually some pictures of this is what my dad's doing. Here's my wife's first attempt at blueberries. So people are starting then to share what they're doing with their canning supplies. So when the contest was over on Sunday at 1:30, then they announced who the winners were. Stop by the store for your prize and canning supplies. Thank you for playing and supporting our business. And again, use the hashtags that they had created for the contest.
So Megan asks a really good question, and I was pretty sure somebody would pick this one up. How do we collect those names and randomize them? Instead of like scrolling down and writing down all those names, it's a lot easier to look at the number of posts that you have, and then you can just have somebody randomly pick a number, and you can count down and figure out whose post that was. That's one of the ways to do it. Connie, do you have other ways maybe that people do that?
Well, that's the easiest one, Jenny, is to just randomly draw numbers. Because if you try to put actual names down, you're going to be doing that. Like with this last contest, 300 likes or shares already, that's what all you're going to get done. So really, that's the easiest way to do it. Make it random. Each week, do something different. So that's really the contest thing. I think for you as a business owner, you need to make a decision about when, if you do contests, when you're going to start, how you're going to do it, and then be consistent over a period of time. And if you have not done a contest in the past, maybe you start really promoting your brand first for about 6 weeks, have some sort of a game plan for your contest, and then drop the contest in for 6 weeks and boost it. And you can boost it for, just the week. You can spend $10, you could spend $50. Get started small with your boosting and figure out what works for you as a business owner. Wednesday seems to work for these guys, but they've been doing it for over a year now.
Katie also posts that there's an online random number generator and she posts a link to that in the chat. So that's a great option too.
Okay. So am I ready to go back to the PowerPoint, Jim?
I believe so.
Okay.
And so one of the questions that Megan brings up is that with a random number, there's no way to keep people from posting multiple times and ensuring your winner did not post multiple. You know, I would make a quick run through just to see that that's not been the case, that people haven't been posting multiple times. If they are, you just pull their the extra number that they have posted out of that total number and still draw a random number. And you figure out which one there was their first one and then draw out the rest of them. So it's not that difficult to figure out.
The other thing about that, and I guess we talk about insights a little bit later, but you really, once you start contests, you really then need to look at your insights and analyze when people are coming, when they're liking, when they're engaging with you. And that's absolutely critical. Once you start paying money for something, you need to know whether or not that return on investment is worth the money that you're investing into it. The co-op definitely found that spending the $50 a week has paid off for them, but that may not work for you. But get started small in that kind of a contest. But it's one way to really definitely engage with your customers, and it's just kind of a fun thing to do. We've had some of our businesses do some contests, and they actually have come back and said, wow, I didn't think it would work, but it did. Are there any questions about contests?
Heidi does note that, you know, if you just use the people who liked the post, that only lists them once, no matter how many times they commented. The only thing I'm not sure is how those likes are ordered, whether or not they are ordered the same as the comments. And we also had somebody else posted a website called WooBox, which is good for contests. And I had not heard about WooBox, but the link is in the chat, so check it out.
Okay. We wanted to also talk about just a Facebook tune-up, because every now and then we need to go back and really look at our page, and is it reflecting the image and the brand that we have created for ourselves? And so look at your name. If you have not claimed your profile on Facebook, make sure you have done that so that it's personalized to your business. Make sure that your cover picture is professionally done, and you can use an image or stock photo if you want to. There's several different sites out there that you can purchase stock photos from to, you know, kind of beef up your image. But you want to make sure that the pixel on that is 851 by 315, and it needs to be a JPEG that is less than 100 kilobytes in file size. Images with a logo or text may be best as a PNG file. So just keep those in mind as you put those images in your cover picture. The other thing that we see a lot of businesses not doing, and this is a place where you can add text, and it adds then again to search engine optimization, is in your description. Do you have a description on every photo that you have uploaded? And particularly your cover picture, you need to make sure that you have a description. The key factor here is that you have 3 to 5 seconds to capture the customer. And so the focus needs to be in the center of the cover page, but all of those things are critical because that is upfront and personal on that Facebook homepage. Your profile picture then again is a little bit different size. It's a little square, 180 by 180. And you can right click on the image to make sure that the size is accurate. It's normally your logo, and you hardly ever change that, but you can change it. Again, make sure you have a description on that profile picture. Use a different description than what you have on your cover picture, but those descriptions are pretty critical. And then the business details, category, location, hours, and are you verified? Have you verified yourself with Facebook? And then from an educational perspective of what you are trying to educate your customer on, there are other things that you can add. Tabs, services, call to action, shop now. You can add all of that to then your Facebook page.
Just remember to keep using those keywords that we know from search engine optimization that help drive customers to your website and then also to your Facebook page. So keywords in your photo descriptions.
Okay. In your settings, this would be on the right-hand side. You would go to settings. Are you verified? It's a blue or white check mark if you're verified, and you want to make sure that you're verified as a business owner, because that is kind of that Better Business Bureau of Facebook. In order to do that, you would need a copy of your electric bill or a call to a phone number that's tied to Facebook. And then under postings in settings, make sure that you post content view before posting. And that would be for anybody that your customers would be posting. You want to be able to view that before it actually goes live on your Facebook. Check the profanity as strong. And the other things that are in that particular part aren't necessarily there. You need to look at your messaging, your page info, and your page roles, and make sure that those are what you want them to be. Like, you want people to message you, what information is accurate, your address and all that kind of stuff. And then who else has access to your page in order to administer or edit that. So go into settings and look at those things.
Making sure also that as you you link that your social media with your website too. So your page info should include your website or other social media platforms that you may be on. And we do encourage you to have more people than just yourself as owners and editors of the page. There's ownership who can do everything, and then there's editors who can't do everything. And so make sure you know what those roles are, who has each of the roles, and that you're not the only one, or that you haven't given it to somebody else. Just you guys go ahead and set this up. We'll get to it later. Giving that setup and organization of a Facebook page to somebody who is maybe not in the ownership role of the business can create problems later on.
Absolutely. And if you did have somebody else create your Facebook page for you, you take ownership of that. We've had too many horror stories of, yeah, my neighbor created for me, they moved, I no longer have communication with them. And so you want to be owner of your Facebook page. So in posting, we recommend to do a test post and to schedule it. You never want to publish now. You always want to create your post. You want to look at it, both of what it looks like on a desktop as well as on a mobile device, because it will always look good on a mobile, but it may not look as good on a desktop. And so schedule it out for a week, later, next day, whatever, so that you have time to really think about your post. And is that what I really want my message to be in that particular post? The cool thing about this is that you can schedule multiple posts at one time. We have a business that went through our class, and she has probably the next 3 weeks of her posts created. and scheduled out. So if something happens in the next 3 weeks, Facebook will still be active. She'll still have posts going out, but she, if she's on vacation or she's at a meeting, she doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and then one of the things that it's really easy to just go ahead and click on the post button, but you'll notice that there is a little drop-down carrot that allows you to come up with the schedule it menu, and so that's where that is. It's right, instead of just clicking post, you need to click the drop-down menu and ask to schedule it. Remembering you cannot change your photos after you've scheduled it. You can change the text.
You can delete it. You can delete
right.
the post if you want to, but the text can be edited, but not the image.
We really don't want to use a couple of things in our posts. Here's a couple of things that Facebook flags as something they don't want to see, and you will have diminished engagement or pushing out of your posts if you use things like on sale or discount or using just the $ itself. Facebook is sensitive because they are hoping that you will purchase advertising from them. And so if you're using the free posts and advertising something about money, they are likely to discount that post and not push it out for you. So if you have things that you want to post $ with, or note that you have a new sale or whatever, using a paid ad for that is what Facebook prefers and will get you more reach.
And now that Facebook also has an e-commerce application, that is where they will direct you to as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the use of hashtags. We think about hashtags for Twitter, but we can also use them for Facebook. It helps build your brand, and it helps build your brand quickly. It tells the story of your red and white. It gets an experience for your business. And so it's easy to track your posts. And that's what is really critical from your perspective, is tracking those posts so that you can go in and say, okay, I did 12 contests, I did 6 contests, whatever, and what does that look like? And what posts had the most engagement, what posts did the best, and then you can start to analyze what you're doing on those particular posts, and that's critical in this whole environment of engagement and social media. So you can do your business name with gifts or ideas, or your business name. The example of the 2016 contest, the co-op has been in the contest business for a couple of years now. So they had 2015 contest, 2016 contest, and that just helps you to identify really the work that you have done in this online environment.
One of the other things that hashtags can really do for you too is allow you access to an audience for a particular subject. So we had a small telephone company who did a contest promotion for a tablet. So they gave away a small tablet, but they also get new tablets and new products built around those tablet idea, and they can then use that contest or those hashtags to post to an audience that has already expressed an interest in tablets. So sometimes you can use that to get an audience or a customer base for a particular subject.
Featured pages. We had some questions on how do I get my local customers to know about my business. So one of the ways is to like local pages. And so as your Chamber of Commerce, if there's other like businesses that are in your community, like those pages, and then follow those pages as well. And potentially you start to engage with those as your business, not necessarily as your personal profile, but as your business page. And then share that with your personal Facebook friends. That's the key factor here, is that You have a personal Facebook page for you as an individual, but then you create a Facebook page using that profile for your business. Do not use a personal profile for your business. If Facebook finds that out, they will flag you and you will be banned from being part of the Facebook environment. So don't break that rule. We have several businesses that tell us we don't want that. We just want to do a personal profile. We tell them not to, and that's their choice. But it really is against the Facebook guidelines to have a personal page be your business page. So the other thing about the local question of how do I get my local people to know this, the more and more that we use our mobile devices to find products and stores, the more important having claimed your bubble on the maps is extremely important. Google Maps, Bing Maps, any of the mapping tools that are on your mobile devices are extremely critical. So it was interesting as I did a local search in Hastings. These businesses popped up and many of them were not claimed, which I thought was really interesting. Some of the businesses that have not claimed actually have reviews. And do they know that they even have reviews in these mapping environments? So if you're not comfortable with claiming your bubble, we've got some guidelines and some instructions on huskerpreneur.wordpress.com, claim your bubble. And there are just some basic steps to get started there. But that is part of that local search. It's part of the local getting to know, having customers know who you are. There was one business here in town that somebody had typed in a wrong phone number, and it took them a little while to get that right phone number on there. But it was critical to them because that's how I found who they were and what they were so that I could make a phone call to them. And the reason why Bing Maps is so important in the Facebook world is that Bing has associated, or Facebook has used that mapping device. So if you have a physical address for your business and you click on that physical address in your page info or your business info, it will go to Bing Maps. So if you're not claimed on Bing and your address is in a wrong spot, people may or may not be able to find you.
So we have some good news for Jennifer. She wants to know if it costs to claim your bubble, and the answer is no. It's absolutely not. You know, and Google really would love to have the best information that it can have, and so it's gathering information from everywhere. But if it has owner verified information, they are happy to have that, and they will allow you then to claim your business as owner verified, and that is wonderful. Now, all the other sites will do that also. If you wanted a business to go through and claim your bubbles on all the different sites, there is a for-fee service. There's lots of them that will do that. But for a small business, just taking the time to walk through, you know, the Google Maps, the Bing Maps, all the other ones you can think of where folks are coming from. And take a look at your customer base. Where are they coming from? If you're a travel-based business, then you need to make sure that you're on the travel sites. If you use Yelp or Yellow Pages, if those are the way people are finding you, then make sure you've claimed your presence on those also. So it's a matter of knowing where your customers are coming from and then going to those sites and giving them your owner verified information.
Absolutely. And I would challenge all of you to go to your local chamber, community group, and really share this information about claiming your bubble, because the more that we use our mobile devices, and that's where we are headed, the more the location-based information is going to be critical. And once you claim your bubble, then you can add additional information. You can upload pictures, you can put the times that you're available, you're open. We had one motel owner say, wouldn't it be great if I put my times in so that people that were trying to find us could find us, and if at midnight I shut the door because I don't want to be up all night checking in people, they would know that we're now closed. And as you look at all of these social places, having your hours up there is pretty important. So I would challenge chambers to do this with their businesses. It's just so important to have your location claimed if you have a physical location.
Taking the time to just do a Google search of your business name can yield a lot of really great information, and some that may need to be adjusted.
And you might be surprised at.
Mm-hmm. Facebook is going to record everything. You know that. They really do. But they're going to record the likes, the shares, the engagement, and reach that you get on everything that you do. And what's really cool is then they share that information with you. And just in general, knowing that about 4% are probably going to come back to your Facebook page at some time. 96% of customers are going to see your content in their news feed. But that's going to be with, depending on their connection to you or their engagement with you, they are more likely to see your posts if they are more engaged with your page, if they have looked at it recently, if they have liked something, if they have shared things. Those are the ways you get your posts out to more people. And then really, really large, 75% of Facebook is loaded onto a mobile device. That's just standard, and it's not going to change. It will only increase.
So some of the other questions were about social media strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And really thinking about that strategy. So we mentioned the first thing that you need to do is think about your brand. What's your brand? What are you trying to do? What do you want your customers to remember? And what are you going to educate? What part of that business do you want to educate your customers on? So we have some tech tips. It's on powerofbusiness.net. And there's a whole section on finding more time learning to prioritize. We have a document on creating a social media strategy, creating online marketing SMART goals, ones that you can evaluate and analyze. And then there's a content calendar there. So as you think about how am I going to do all of this, you need to schedule out your time. And when during the week you are not as busy, schedule that time then to create that content. And then this content calendar says, okay, this week is a good week to promote Valentine's Day. So I'm going to be doing information on Valentine's. These are the things I'm going to promote, and these are the message that I'm going to give. The next week may be something on President's Day, and you can start to map that calendar so that when you do get busy, again, you've got that scheduled, you've got that calendar, you've been very strategic about what message you are going to give your customers and how you're going to engage with them. So we'll give this link to Heidi and Katie, and they can share that with you. And there's 3 different documents here on that site for you to download and utilize for your own thought process. We talked about insights briefly, and I don't know, this is a whole webinar all by itself, but it's really learning about the people behind the scenes. And so you don't see it here, but the orange color and yellow is about search engine optimization. Pink is about engagement, and the more engagement you have, the better. And so you need to go in, find out who your customers are, when things started to happen, what posts were more important in people's lives than others, and really look at that kind of information.
If you can, and one of the things you can do is you can see the relative engagement of any particular post. And so if you get a post that does really well, ask yourself, what is it that I did that caused that, and try to repeat that. So that's just one of the key pieces to using the insights from Facebook. Well, and all of the different platforms offer some sort of insights, but I really like the Facebook ones because it gives you so much information and allows you to replicate what works well.
Right. Well, and the insights will also tell you when is the best time of day or week to post for maximum impact. So you can start to see then when your customers are on, to be able to identify when you should be scheduling those posts. A little bit of that, the best time of week or day, time of day is really dependent on the size of the page, how many likes you have, if the page is active. If you're not active at least 5 to 10 times a week, and that's really posting pretty consistently, you may not get that kind of impact that you're looking for. So start with once a day. If you're not posting now, start with once a day. Use that content calendar that we talked about to help you think about what posts you're gonna share during that time frame. And then again, look at your insights. It's really, again, it goes back to your brand. What is the message I want to give about my brand? And the content, once you've identified that, the content then just keeps going over and over and over again. Okay. A couple of apps to consider is Flipagram and Instagram. Again, even if you're not going to use those right now, you may want to go out and claim your profile on both of those because they're becoming more important in the Facebook world.
And remember that
some resources.
Facebook owns Instagram, right? So they have plans to integrate that in more closely to their main app. So if you haven't used Instagram, try it. Just see how it works. Ask a kid to show you how, because they use it all the time.
Here are some resources. Again, this will be in the link that we give to Heidi and Katie. Here are some free stock websites with images that you can use. And there's some free stuff. There's some for fee. Dreams Time is one that we used in our class. They've got some really very professionally done images that you can search through. As I looked at some of the questions that Heidi and Katie sent to us, one of the questions was, how do you determine which posts to pay Facebook for? Currently, Facebook has changed that a little bit. They will actually notify you to help you think about which ones to pay for. But you really need to be proactive yourself and advertise the things that you want to advertise. So I think you will begin to, as you become more engaged in this environment, you will begin to really know which post to boost. I don't think you have to do every boost, for heaven's sake, or every post. You don't need to boost every post. You need to be very strategic about that. But again, it's about your brand and what you're trying to educate people on. Those are the two things to keep important in mind as you think about boosting that image. If you have not done a like campaign, I would do one of those, and I would boost a like campaign to get more people within your region, within the Facebook environment, to know about you. And that would be something that, again, if there was an opportunity, we could do a session just on like campaigns and how to get started with doing that. Do we recommend linking our social media accounts? It sort of depends upon the message. We know that if you use a third party like Hootsuite, you don't get the reach that you do within Facebook. And so I would create your content within Facebook and then distribute that to Twitter. And of course, Instagram is going to already be part of that because it's part of the Facebook environment. But it's really based on your fans. And so look at where your fans are at and if that's a place that you need to be connected to. Do we recommend paying for Facebook advertising to promote the contest? As you get started in this whole contest environment, I would first look at posting for 6 weeks and promoting your brand, and then drop in the contest after 6 weeks, again, so that you have a time frame that you're looking at to evaluate and analyze the insights. Once you start to drop in the contest, do that, boost it for 6 weeks and see again what is happening, analyze that. If something is not working, then you need to stop it. But if you are starting to see a difference in people coming to the store or the profit line, then you know that probably that is working. Once you do that contest, boosting it for 6 weeks, come back with an organic contest. Because once you've done the 6 weeks and 6 weeks, and even if you've done a like campaign, you're going to have more people who are following your page. Drop in then an organic contest where you don't pay for it and see what happens and analyze that against the ones that you have boosted. Jenny, that's all that I have in terms of the questions. I don't know, Heidi and Katie, if there's other questions that we did not get to or did not answer today.
Yeah. I think you covered most of them. Does anybody here in the webinar, do you have any questions?
I will note that Manuela notes that she has goes through her post likes and then invites the people to like her page if they have not done that already. So that's a personal invitation to like a page from somebody who is already doing it. So we have another one. Let me get my mute going here. An organic contest versus a paid contest. I don't know if Connie is. Did you change something, Connie, on yours? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback.
I just stopped sharing is all.
Okay. I'm going to mute you for just a jiffy and see if that works. Manuela, or no, there's somebody else has asked an organic contest. Okay, when we talk about organic, that just means unpaid for. And if you look at the Oktibbeha County Co-op, they started with paid contests and have been able to move to organic, so they don't necessarily pay to boost the posting of their contest posts. If that makes sense, organic would be just an unpaid for post about a contest. Good printed source. For more learning about this, we've got a question about if there's a printed source for this information. I will tell you that we are going to go ahead and share this on our powerofbusiness.net website, so you can get back to this particular post or this whole webinar. Other places to go for this, you know, this stuff changes so fast that it's hard to have a printed source.
Really, the help in Facebook is, I think, probably some of the best information that they have. But you have great resources with Katie and Heidi as well. And from a membership perspective, that's what they're there for. And so I would, if you have questions, make sure you ask them. Jenny and I are also available to answer questions at any time. But you've got a great resource with Grow Nebraska.
Yeah, and we will be sending out an email after this call. So if you don't already have my contact information, I will be sharing it there. Katie's contact information will be in there, and we'll also share Jenny and Connie's contact information. So if you have follow-up questions.
And we will send you the link to, the direct link to where this presentation is going to be, as well as the recording, if you want to listen to it.
So I see lots of thank yous. And you are so welcome. We'd love to do this again sometime.
Well, thank you, Connie and Jenny. We loved having you. This was an awesome presentation full of great resources and great information. We are very thankful to have you.
Well, I think the platform worked pretty well. We had 32 on the call, Heidi, and not Jenny. I had a little bit of delay from Jenny once in a while, but that's a bandwidth issue.
Yeah, I think it went great. We'll have to do this again. So we will be sending out a survey to everybody. So if you like this format, or if you didn't like this format, please let us know. And if you are interested in, if you enjoyed this training and you're interested in more trainings like this, free, open to the public, we do have these every third Thursday. Like our Facebook page, and you will get to find out about these. Our next one coming up is about merchant processing. I also want to say thank you again to our sponsors for making this possible. It would not be possible without them. And again, huge thank you to Connie and Jenny. This was absolutely wonderful. I hope everybody has a great day.
Thanks,
Very
Heidi.
cool.